Hello, everybody. This is Matt Isker with Sharetec here to give you a little bit of insight on one of our top customers and what Harvester Crediting is doing to increase the usage of their mobile banking, of their internet banking, of a lot of their digital services. And today we have a special guest. Jason Ford is with us as the CEO of Harvester. And before we interview Jason, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the digital technology space due to COVID. As you can tell, your digital services have jacked up, increased dramatically. And it's what some say have moved us forward much faster than expected. In fact, there's a high percentage of customers who now want to prefer to do transactions, interact with your bank and your credit union remotely. And so let's talk to Jason, because when Sharetec interviewed and evaluated all of our customer base, several hundred, Harvester Credit Union here in Indianapolis had some of the highest percentages of penetration in those numbers. And to give you a little bit of feedback, Harvester had 86% penetration in e-statements. Harvester had 23% penetration in electronic notices, which is the number 5 of all of Sharetec. And Harvester is the number 1 penetration of all of Sharetec for mobile usage. And so what is Harvester doing so well? What is Jason and his staff doing so well? And to give you a little background, before we talk to Jason, Harvester is about a $65 million credit union here in Indianapolis, Indiana. 2 branches. They have a 19% share growth. They have an 18% loan growth. Jason's been in the credit industry for 13 years, in the financial industry for 28 years. He started as a teller. He's on several boards. He was voted emerging leader in 16. CU Magazine Rockstar in 19, among other things. Jason, with all that, welcome to our call today.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you having me.
Jason, we're going to pick your mind today about how you and your team are doing this so well. And so let's start with a really easy question. Is there anything, Jason, that you feel like your team is doing that's really working pretty well to help members use those digital services?
Well, first, I'd say I was surprised to hear the stats that you brought about number 1 in mobile usage. As many phone calls as we still get, that surprises me, but I will definitely take it. I think what we do well is that when someone comes in to become a member, we do have the same staff that wait on people time and time again, so they do get a comfort level with opening accounts. So I would call them obviously our specialists at each of our offices. But really, where I think we do well is that we take the member over to designated computers and log them on while they're here, as opposed to letting them log on when they leave, because we know there's such a drop-off rate if they don't do it in front of us. And we help them download the app on their device, so they can have that experience of actually logging in. We take them over to those member computers and let them register for e-statements while they're here. And that drives the vast majority of why, I think people are signing up in such large numbers. I mean, we do marketing like everyone else does with sign up for e-statements and things, but I really believe it's our in-branch experience that is what's driving those numbers.
So Jason, are you indicating that you've got a special workstation set up in the offices where your staff walk them over to?
Yes, at each office, really right next to our member service desk, are computers that are designed, it's a member center where they can sit down, whether they're opening the account or whether they're just coming in and they want to check their stuff before they go up to the teller, and they can sit at those computers and access their accounts. Obviously, they're restricted to, where they can go. But yeah, we do have a specially designated spot for that.
Okay, that's good to know. Now, the other thing I heard you say, Jason, is that you've got some staff members who are really good at this in helping members sign up for these services. Do you Do you train them? Do you teach that? How do you get them so qualified to do that?
Well, I mean, at each office there is an individual who that is their primary, one of their primary responsibilities. So yeah, there is training involved. If they're not available, we do have other people that can do it. I would guess that the adoption rate probably isn't quite as high because that's not their primary, role. So they're trying to get back to that primary role.
Mm.
But we do try and get those people to sign up for them just because we know it benefits the member. It also benefits us on the cost side and the reduced phone call side. And that's what we try to push on the staff. Look, the more you do this now, the less you have to do later.
Yeah. Now, how do these staff members get trained? How do they get really good at this? What do you guys do for that?
We have sent everyone through what we call it connections training. We bring in an outside individual. We just did that February 15th, I believe, if that was a Monday. We had our he does sales training, but none of us like the word sales, so we call it connections training. We're not trying to sell anybody anything. We're just trying to put them into a product that's actually beneficial to them.
Mm.
So our entire frontline staff goes through that. We try to do a couple different ones a year because we understand that no one person learns the same. So if this guy's saying it one way and then this lady is saying it a different way, maybe someone hears from her better than they hear from him.
Mm.
So we do try to bring in a couple different perspectives each year, and update it, because if you don't, the training can get stale quickly.
I see. So, Jason, I want to hear is that you have training people coming in twice a year at most to continue to educate and use best practices and how to best open up these services.
Yeah, this year we had an on-site.
Hmm.
We did it on President's Day. Since we were closed, we gave that staff an additional floating holiday. The second one we're doing is actually sponsored through the Indiana Credit Union League. It's actually a free one, so we're going to take free all we can get. So it'll probably be a recorded version,
Yeah,
but it's better than paying for it if you can get it.
very good. All right. So, Jason, what I hear you saying, the reason you have such great numbers in penetration for your mobile, for your e-statements, is that you've got a dedicated staff that are really good at opening up accounts. I think you said you've got a space designed where the staff take the members to when they're opening up the accounts. And the third nugget that we learned from you today is that you are consistently training your team on this topic of talking about it, bringing the topic up, and then walking them through the opening up the process.
That is correct. I really put a lot of emphasis on the training, because we don't bring anyone who trains, like I said earlier, who trains to sell. We only want those people bringing the staff the training that trains them to help.
Right.
Is we don't want to be the next Wells Fargo that's out there, opening accounts because they're simply trying to meet a quota. We don't have rigid goals for any kind of sales at all. We have goals, but they're not so high that they're stressful.
I see.
And we encourage people, if they're struggling, to talk to their supervisor and see what we can do to help.
Okay. Well, Jason, what you're doing is working. We see it in all of our Sharetec penetration numbers, and we say congratulations to you and thank you for your insight today on sharing what is working there at your place.
Matt, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You bet. Have a great day.
You too.